Right. Okay. So let's. I'll put it on to present, and then we'll start there. If I can find where to present. Okay. Right. Are you getting?
Yes.
You're getting the home page, are you?
Yes.
Excellent. Good. Right. Fine. Okay. So I think the best place to start is this is really just about groups and all the functionality around groups. So I'll go through it, and then I'm sure there's lots of things I probably won't be time to cover, but I'll do what I can. So the first thing is you need to have someone to control your groups. So the first stage you must always have is somebody who has group authority. So a group coordinator, or preferably more than one, because obviously people aren't there. And this what's it? 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth one along. You've got to have. You must have at least one of these, preferably two, and maybe more. So that's a group coordinator is the first thing. But associated with this authority for groups, you must also have them as a group coordinator in the U3A contact section. Again, we've got two of them here, and you can, at this point, obviously the idea here is that once you've got your groups coordinator set up, you can put a generic email against it, and therefore all the group related emails that come don't go to your as the group coordinator your personal email address. It goes to the whatever you choose as your generic email address. So that's the sort of the overall controller of groups, or group 2. There's a second group coordinator, and these is called a restricted group coordinator, and the idea here is that you can allocate a group coordinator to a particular section of groups. You can just allocate them to particular groups, and they have group coordinator powers over the groups they're allocated to, but they can't look at other groups. So you can basically section it up into various areas if you've got a lot of groups. The third element of control is the group leader themselves, and they have different rights to the group coordinator, less rights. A group coordinator can add new groups. The group coordinator can delete groups, but the group leader can't do either of those two things. There's also a second leader, and the second leader is basically has exactly the same rights as the group leader, so they can make all the changes. Right. Okay. So that's basically the controls over the groups. If we now have a look at the group list. Obviously, start at the top. Only the group coordinator has this blue cross at the top right, and that's how to add a new group. You can also print this group list as well if you want to. So there are 3 basic types of group. There's a registration group, a standard group, and a payment group. A registration group is essentially just a way of getting together people of a common interest. so that you can communicate with them and give them information without sending it to the whole U3A, who perhaps don't want a lot of information. So you might have one that of people who are interested in holidays or theatre trips or walks or whatever, and you can use that as a way of just communicating with those particular people. The people can join registration groups they can just apply and they automatically get entry. There's no acceptance of those. And essentially that's really all registration groups are about, is just to be able to keep in touch with a subset of members with a particular interest. Standard group is pretty much what it says, which we'll go through in a minute. And then on top of a standard group, there's payment groups, and payment groups are where somebody has to effectively pay to join it. So it's for things like theatre trips away, and so if you're going to, I don't know, the theatre or something, then people can apply to join it. They then become provisional members, and then once the group leader sets them as a provisional member, then they pay initially a deposit if you want to, thereafter the rest of it, and it's only when they made the full payment do they become members of the group. But essentially a lot of other than that, the features of those two things are the same. There is another type of group which is sort of similar to a standard group, and that is a drop-in group. And a drop-in group is a group where you don't actually have any members at all to. It's there in your group list, and people can just turn up to it. So you don't have to go through any sort of membership process for it. I'll come to how you do that a little later on.
Sorry, Chris.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt, and I apologise for being
late. Do.
Yeah. What I've got here is I'm looking at your presentation, and then I'm looking on my phone on our Scarborough website. Yeah, and I'm the groups coordinator.
Okay.
Scarborough U3A. And I've clicked on group list by category. Yeah. And those options that you've got on the top of the screen, I don't have option 2. I don't have access to that. So I don't have that bit that says by day, by venue, by title, vacancies, registration groups, and colour key.
What version are you using?
Okay, what version are you on?
I've got absolutely no idea.
Top right-hand corner. If you look, you can see it on the end of the menu line. It'll tell you.
Where? Sorry.
On the blue line.
I can see. Version 9.0.6 I've got.
Well, that's the answer then. You're in quite an old version of it, and
it's in the side menu.
So, like to sort of keep people as updated as possible. So, if you want to get updated to the latest version, which is the latest live version, is 11.1.
Right. Okay.
And so these sort of features are in this one. So. In fact, what I'm showing you today is some of the stuff in 11.2 as well, or
those features are in
the live version is 11.1.
Is that because we haven't paid for this version? Is there a reason?
No. It's just you've got to, the idea with versions is that the test site, your test system, is always kept to the latest version.
Yeah.
But the live version is really, because I don't make it until people are ready to have the update. So it's just on request, really. So when you're ready to go up to the latest version, just let me know, and I will I'll update it for you,
Chris.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, thank you for that. I'll just let our guy know then, because I'm a bit bemused, because there's no point me being here learning about the new stuff if I haven't got the new stuff to actually.
That's fine, Chris. Yeah, absolutely.
I will continue though. Thank you. That's great. Thank you very much,
Chris.
Okay,
Chris. She's got those features. Features are in the side menu.
Point, mate. I'm looking at our test version on a separate screen. And if I go to group list by group name, so the alphabetic list, You've got a little print icon next to the plus sign. I haven't.
The print icon is only there for by category, as I remember. Or
Right. Okay. So it wouldn't be there for by name, as it were. It's for all the others. It's there for all the rest. So
oh, is it? Right. Okay. Oh, well, maybe it does print. Maybe it only prints in a couple of sequences. It probably doesn't print in the sequence by name. So if you're in,
that's the only one it's missing on is the by day. Sorry, the alphabetic list.
Right. Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
Chris.
Okay. That's what I said.
Chris.
Okay.
Chris, just going back to Scarborough's question, she's got those by day, by venue, by title in the side menu. It's not that she hasn't got them; it's just that they're not displayed like that.
Yes, that's true. Yes. Yes.
Sorry?
Oh yes, you can still view them. It's just the buttons that are missing.
The buttons are missing. That's all. You've still got exactly the same selection, but it's under groups in the side menu if it's set up like that.
Can you see that?
Hang on. So it's on the side menu, is it?
Yes, under group.
Yeah, we do have the by. Yeah. I've got groups. I've got by category.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got by day. I've got by title.
Yeah.
Groups by places. I haven't got vacancies.
No,
that's
that's
new.
one of the new ones.
That's new.
Yeah, that's the bit I was interested in because we had to really report to get that.
Okay, yeah, that's in the latest one. So once we've updated you, it'll be there.
Lovely, thank you very much. That's fine.
Okay.
Well, you say it'll be there, Chris. It won't because they'll go to 11.1, won't they? Not 11.2.
It's in 11.1, isn't it?
I've not got it in my test system.
No, it's 11. It's in
No, you
11,
haven't.
It's in 11.2, Chris, as far as I know.
How you doing?
Oh, sorry.
Can you clock me in with U3AWeb?
Okay. So, okay. Well, just for general interest, you've got once you're logged in, if you click on that B number on the top right hand, you've got the release notes there, and that tells you what particular features are in what particular parts of the system. So you can have a look on that. If you click on there, you'll see whether the by vacancies is in 11.1 or 11.2. Right. Okay. I think I'll move on. The next thing I think is to just talk about group status.
Yeah, Chris, before you hop off, just sort of for advance warning, can you click on vacancies? How does that show?
How does it show?
Yeah.
It shows it as in.
Log in.
So
Password.
looks the same, but obviously he's just got a subset of the groups that actually have a vacancy there.
Oh, right. Okay. Right. Okay.
So,
thank you.
I can't remember which one was. Somebody put that in there themselves as a thing, and it just seemed to get the system to do it.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Chris.
Okay. Right. Okay. Group status. Each group has one of basically three statuses. They can be in when you create them. You create a group as a draft and do all the work you need to on it.
You haven't done the password. To delete it.
Sorry. Perhaps could you all mute if you're not raising a point? Okay. Yeah. So you get a draft to set it up. When you're happy that it's okay, then you make it live. When you've finished with it, you can either delete it or archive it. Yes. Does somebody want to say?
Yeah, it's Julie. Sorry, I'm down as you on the bottom of this. If you look at the top, group list with vacancies, it says, not vacancies.
Well done. No, it must
Sorry,
be.
sorry.
It must be
English
11.2
teacher in me, I'm
then.
afraid. Yeah, sorry.
No, that's good. Thank you for that. I'll before it becomes into the test system, I'll take out the N.
Yeah, it's Southampton people. They call it vacancies, not vacancies.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So and then there's another sort of automatic status, and that's finished. So once it gets past its final date, a group is shown as finished. And the reason to mention that now is that ordinary members, either of the group or of the U3A, don't see anything in status, draft, finished, or archived. They only see live groups. So they get they get a reduced list when they look, and it'll only be the ones that you effectively want them to see. Right. Okay. When you set up a group, you can, if you want to, give it a group status, and that's on top of these ones that we've just talked about, and those are shown in this list by a background color, and you can define what statuses you want and also what color you want it to show by going into systems details. And group status. It's a table. When it gets there. So you can have, what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You can have 8 more different statuses, and basically you decide what you want them to call it. If it's used, you stick a 1 in the last column. If you don't want to use it, you put a 0 in there, and then you put a color. The color is a code, and you get these. They're the HTML hex codes here for these colors, and now you get those colors. Well, you can get them very easily by just doing a search, a Google search or something for hex colors without a U. Or you could probably come up with a U as well, and there'll be loads of them there, which you can then just click on, and you can pick the color you want, and it will tell you there's all sorts of things down here. So if you can pick it from the chart, you can play around with it and get all sorts of colors from this. And the color and the code you need is the one that's behind the hash key there. 6 digits are hexadecimal, so that's got alpha characters and numbers in it. So and you just put that into there, and then the system will use that color as the background. You probably want to keep away from dark colors, because it rather sort of dominates the list. So pastel colors probably are best.
Chris, just for information, I've got access, and I presume I'm group coordinator with access to all the groups, but not administrator, and I haven't got access to the systems details. I suspect that might only be the administrator's rights to access to it. And personally speaking, I'd prefer to keep it that way, because you're getting into sort of complexities and so on, and the fewer people that do that, the better.
Yes, although the way systems details works is the administrator can allocate particular parameters to particular people. So they can set up a section for groups and put whatever parameters they want into it, and then the group coordinator can see those particular parameters and only those. So things like this status color, they can set it up separately and give it directly to you without you having control of the rest of the system. Okay,
Okay.
Yeah, good. Right. Okay. So, sorry, I'll go back to the list of groups. So down the right-hand side of this list, there is the person's status within each group, and there are quite a lot of different things that can come up in this. And I've set up a registration group called Group Status. Yeah. When it gets there. Right. So here are the all the in the group description here. Here are all the statuses that can come up on the right-hand side and in the right-hand box. You can switch that box off if you want to. You don't have to show it on the list, but if you do show it on the list, it could be any one of these. I'll start off with the bottom one because that doesn't come on the group list. That comes as a status when somebody goes into the group. These same statuses appear on the group list as well, on the individual group as well. And obviously, if you're not a member of the group, then it won't come up with remove me from this group. But, so that one at the bottom is only there for that. It won't be on the group list. But I think most of them are fairly straightforward in terms of describing the status. So drop-in group, obviously one I mentioned earlier on, you can just go along to. Sessions finished is, that's what it says. It's gone past the end of the date. And generally the members won't be able to see that one anyway because it's finished. Closed for applications is when you use the date, the closing date, and that's passed. There is a switch in the system that you can set to not allow people to join groups until they have paid their current year's membership. So and so that comes up there if you've set that switch and they haven't renewed, so they won't be able to join. So the next two are about actually joining the group with their links. So if they click on them, they can go in and join it. Obviously, the first one says you can set a date at a time when the application, effectively the membership of the group opens for applications. In fact, you can set a date and you can set a time if you want to. So if you're having a get together and you want it to be available online at the same time as the get together, you can set it for 9 AM on a particular date. Fully subscribed is when it's when you've got up to the number. Join the waiting list if you've got waiting list vacancies. I got fully subscribed there twice. Yeah. Member, I think fairly obvious. Applied to join, that means that you're sitting in a status waiting for the group leader to either make you a member or not. Declined, which if the group leader's declined you. If you've actually joined the waiting list, you're on that one. And then a waiting payment is when you're probably waiting. If it's either a deposit waiting or if you haven't got a deposit, it's just the payment. Waiting final payment's the same. The two bottom ones are vacancy and waiting list are ones that are given to people, visitors to the site, as opposed to people who are logged in. So it doesn't give all the other information. It just says either the site, the group has vacancies there, or it's there is a waiting list for joining that particular group. So all those things are things that can come out on that end column there. Right. Okay. So we've looked at the, just going back to the group list there, we've looked at all the buttons at the top already, really, to some extent, that they're, you can have them in various sequences, by group, by venue, by title, and just basically by alphabetic title. Those are vacancies or just the registration groups. So it's they're just different sequences of the same thing, basically. And the color key is the thing we talked about earlier on, which basically shows the statuses you have chosen to use and the colors behind them, plus also the ones we talked about, the draft, finished, and archive status as well. Okay, right. So I think probably the next thing to do is to go on and add a group. So we've got to choose which type of group to add. So I think we'll start off and put a standard group in here. So again, this is only coordinator can do this, and they would just do this, just set up a skeleton for the group leaders to develop themselves, I guess, or not. So asterisk down the left-hand side means it's mandatory. So we'll just.
Chris, can we ask that everyone checks that they're muted? I'm getting a lot of background noise again.
Okay. Right.
Can I just say, if your blue bar is moving on your picture, it's because you are not muted.
Good, everything's gone silent now. Right, okay. So we can just put a title in. We've got to have a leader. So I don't know, Desperate Dan. And if you've only got a single coordinator, then this group coordinator doesn't appear. But if you've nominated more than one, then you've got to select which one of the group coordinators is the coordinator of this particular group. You then pick your meeting venue, and the venue actually is quite useful in terms of providing information about additional information about the group. And I'll just go off just slightly just to just remind everybody or show everybody that the base information on it is in the venue list is this, just name, address, and a description. But you do have this blue information button, and you can set up any amount of information about a group, about a venue. There's just sort of, you can define the headings, and you can define the content yourself for each particular group. And if you don't want 10, you can select 5. It's a way of providing more information, and it's, well, that's worthwhile using sometimes. So let's just go back to groups again. Just add the group again. So I'll select that as the menu. You must have a start date. Then you've got an option. You've either got an option. You can either just say, well, this group's going to roll on forever, or for the foreseeable future. There's no defined end date. So if it's just a rolling one, you can just click on there. The end date disappears, and what it does, it just keeps on extending the group for a further year. so that so things like group dates and things will show for the next any dates in the next 12 months, and as people, you know, and each time it's, if you like, each day goes on another day. Application date, as we said earlier on, you can just set the date by which somebody can start to apply to join this particular group, and you can put a time in there as well. And so the status on the group status won't change to join until that time's passed. A closing date, you can say you must have applied by the by a particular date, and after that you can't apply. I suppose for things like trips and things, you need to know some way in advance when things there. Frequency. You could select weekly, fortnightly, monthly, periodically, and user defined. Weekly, it's probably fairly obvious. It's going to be it's going to set up a date for the group, and it's going to on a particular day every week from thereafter. You can then vary that later on, which we'll come on to. But anyway, just generally for weekly there. Fortnightly is actually the same as weekly, except it changes the wording slightly, and the system doesn't calculate every other week, because fortnightly groups sometimes aren't fortnightly. They sometimes are every, you know, you say, oh well, we're going to have a miss out one over Christmas and we'll have 3-week gap or whatever. So it still creates all the dates for you, so you can then decide which meeting dates are there. And well, I'll leave this one as a fortnightly one, and we're going to do that a little later. You can put a start time and an end time. Generally, it's not mandatory to do that, but if you're using the venue booking system, then you do need to put the start and end time in. But generally you don't. So yeah, if you just log it in, it's optional. But obviously, it just adds more information. Sorry, I went on before I finished this one. Sorry, back to there. Right, a monthly frequency. This again, it'll want a day of the week, and now it asks you which of these days in the month are will the meeting be held. So if it's the 1st, 3rd, and 5th, you can put that in, or you know, if it's just you're just going to be, if it's just on the if it's just on this, it meets on the 2nd Tuesday of the month, 2nd Wednesday of the month, you just put it in like that, and the system will calculate the dates of those, and will also when it puts generate the description which says we'll meet monthly on the 2nd Wednesday of each month. Periodically, again it's quite similar to the weekly and fortnightly one, in that it's just wording wise it's different, in that it will just say this group meets periodically on Wednesdays, and you can then put the dates in, or change the dates as you want them, but you'll be offered all the dates between the start and the end. And then the other one, user defined, is it doesn't generate a description here. You can put your own description in, you know, and you know, because it might be, you might only have two dates on the 1st of July and the 25th of August or something, in which case you can create your own description there. So but we'll just go back to, and I don't know whether people use user defined very much, but just a tip. It's worthwhile if you've got lots of dates for a user defined, and it's only and it's quite close to something other like a weekly one, or except you want to make the occasional one on a Wednesday instead of a Tuesday, it's best to set it up weekly first and then change it to use defined, because it leaves all the dates in there for you and you only have to change the ones that you actually need to change. So that's worthwhile doing, but we'll just go back to fortnightly. Okay, attendance costs, again, just more information that you can put in if you want to. If you're saying, oh well, it's going to cost you £1 a week to be there, then you can put that. You can add that information there. Category, you must have at least one category, and obviously the categories, again, you set up yourself. You can set them up as you wish. And they can be anything you want to be. I don't think there's a restriction on the number of categories you can have, or maybe there is. But
there is, yeah.
There is it? Yeah. And you can have a second category. Again, if something falls into two categories, so when you do a selection by category, then you can bring it out in a number of selections if you want to do that. Right, next, the description. Now, the description can be either a simple text and very easy, you know, to put in, and therefore you can just type it in, you know, with nothing special. You just maybe an ordinary description. And if you do that and leave it like that, then you can always come back to here and change it later, and you'll always come to this page to change it. But if you want to have something a bit more complicated with links and images and colors and all these sorts of things, then you start off here by just putting something in. You know, you can just put a dot in to start with, and then you come, when you accept this, then you go into the more complicated one to set the description up as you want it to be. We'll come to that in a sec. Comments, just a way of just storing comments, which are not shown on the display. These are things for, if you like, the group leader can put some notes and things for themselves in there or whatever.
Anyone that is a group coordinator, Chris, it is worth, when you create the group, emphasising to the group leaders that comments doesn't show to the public, it's just for them. We've had quite a few of our group leaders, they put comments in there which are patently obviously meant to be seen by the members, and they don't show to the members.
Yeah.
Yes.
Chris, what's happened to the message in it?
Yeah, the message is still there, Neil, but without being wicked, they just ignore it.
Oh no, I mean on Chris's view there, because I can't see it.
Oh, I see. Yeah. On the live system.
Yeah, normally it's got a sort of grey bit. Yeah.
Yeah, but it is worth the group co-ords emphasising the group leaders that if they put anything in comments,
yes,
it doesn't
just for them.
show to the group members.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, you've normally got something there, Chris, to say that, you know, when it's blank.
You're right, there is. Yeah. Okay. This is I'll have a look at that. This is 11.2, so it's yeah, okay. As you can see, 11.2 isn't ready yet. Right, yes. Fine. Just going sort of further on down the options you've got down here. Some people don't. Some people want to show the telephone number of the group leader so they can get in touch. And so you've got an option, a lock down here. You can either show, don't show it to the group leader 1 only, show it group leader 2 only, or both group leaders. So in other words, it's just a way whether or not you display their contact information on the link there. Next one's just again another selection about whether or if you have set the switch in if you like for the overall system to do a renewal check, you can on each group as you go and decide to go with that renewal check or not, or override the fact that it's there. and that's something that you choose. So it is set for the system, but we won't have it for this particular group. Right, number of places in the group. If you set the group to 0, the number of places, the system will show closed for applications. So it's unlikely you're going to have a number of places of 0, but if you do leave it at 0, then it will show closed for applications until you put a number of places in the group. If you put 0 in the places in the group and 0 in the size of your waiting list, that turns into a drop-in group. That's how you define a drop-in group. Just change both of them to 0. So you can have the waiting list any size you like, and it defaults to 5 because the 5 is in this system. That's the overall that you've set up in the system. It might be not be 5. I've just set it to 5 is the default. Next question is whether or not you're allowing the full members of the group to be able to send emails to the other members of the group. So if you want the members to be able to share information amongst themselves, then you can set that to yes and allow them to send emails. Next, the group leaders can book the venue. This is if you're using the venue booking system. So I don't think we'll deal with that today. And I think if people are interested in a bit more information on venues and venue booking and things, we could run another session if anybody's interested.
Excuse me, Chris. If you allow members to see other members' information, do we have to get them to agree to data protection?
You're not allowing them to see other people's information. All you're doing is sending emails to them. So you're saying then all you're saying is yes, I want to send this particular note to all the other members. They don't see the email addresses.
Right.
The system is sort of one of the basics of the system that one member doesn't see the other person's email address unless they want them to.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
You can, if you don't want to keep a sort of a control from a group leader's point of view of who's joining the group, you can just set auto accept members. So anybody on a group, that if somebody applies and anybody who applies can be in the group, then you can auto accept them here and just put yes in there, and it won't go through the process. They'll just automatically become members if they apply. We've talked about group status. So here are the statuses that people can select, which is the ones we set up earlier on or didn't set up earlier on, and that just makes the color on the color list. And finally, then you decide whether or not it's a draft, live, or archived group. So if we just put it in as a live one for the time being.
Chris, before you move off, if you set auto accept members to yes,
yeah,
okay, but you set up total places in group as let's
Alan, I can't hear you anymore.
You just muted yourself, Alan.
I'm an idiot. There you go. I can't be held responsible for being a total plum. If you get to the maximum number of members, but you put in auto accept, when it gets to that maximum number, does it then not auto accept, or does it just carry on accepting people?
Well, that's a very good question. I'm sure I knew the answer to that sort of 4 or 5 years ago when we put it in. I don't know the answer to it now.
I think I've tried it, Chris, and it just carries on as you'd expect. So it says that you'll go on the waiting list if it goes above the maximum in the group, and then once it gets to the limit of the waiting list, it will then say fully subscribed. So you couldn't do it anyway.
Oh, absolutely. Of course. Yes, that's right. It will, won't it? That's yeah, because they yes, it won't carry on doing it because it won't get the link on the list to be able to do it.
That's correct.
Right, okay, thanks.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
I did like that response, Chris. I used to get that at work. Good question, well asked. They say that when they don't really know the answer.
Well, that's right.
Can I just add a point about the auto accept?
Yeah.
Which might be interest of some group coordinators. If you get something, for instance, like an online talk, and you want people to apply, you want to know who's coming, you can set it, say, to 100 places. You can have 100 screens, if you like, joining a Google Meet or etc. Set it to auto accept, and all the members that are interested apply to join the group, automatically accepted, so you don't have to keep checking. And then when you're ready for the meet to start a week before, you email out one email that gives everybody the meet code. So it can be very useful. On occasion, we've done it about 4 times now for our online meetings before we can go face to face.
Yes.
Yeah,
Right.
so it can be very useful, and you know, when you think about it. So
Right. Yep. Yep. That sounds good.
Chris, a question. The members send emails. You were saying there that other members won't see your email address. I would question that because I'm pretty sure they do.
How do they do that then?
Well, when I send an email to other group members, you know, as a member of the group rather than group leader, they receive an email from my personal email address.
Yes. That's what I
They
said.
they do see my email address, and so there is a GDPR question.
Well, no, it's by you sending the email, you've got to send it from somewhere. So you're making the decision to send it. So you're sending it from your email address. If you want replies and things, then you're going to have to send it from your email address. You could also send it from a generic one if you wanted to, I guess.
Yeah, rightio. Thank you.
But you're not basically telling everybody else's email. But I take your point.
Chris,
Yeah.
can I just ask, when a second leader is appointed and somebody applies to join the group, I don't think the second leader is getting that information as an automatic email. And the second leader is often put in because they're like a buddy, because the main leader is not confident with using the website. So the second leader really does need to know when somebody's applied to join the group.
Okay, and you're saying does it go out? So it's just the second leader that doesn't get it.
As far as I'm aware, the first leader will get it, but the second leader doesn't get it.
Okay, right. Okay. If you could raise a ticket for that, and then we'll put it in the list and add it to the next update and just send that email as well. That'd be great.
Yeah, Hillary is
Yeah.
Alan.
Yeah.
I've got an idea. I think, Chris, I did put a ticket in, but I will check to make sure. I thought I did put a ticket in for that, but maybe I didn't. Because
Chris-
Hillary raised this with me before,
Yeah.
and I thought I put a ticket in, but some days they hurtle past.
Chris, can I ask a question, please? This is
Sure.
Dee from Bangor. I'm sort of sitting in for our group coordinator, and she's asked me to ask that if the group leader emails the group via the website, it doesn't seem possible to reply to all, which is quite important when we're discussing restarts and everything. We wanted to share the information between the group members. Is that possible?
So when you say reply to, are you saying reply to? Oh, you mean to reply to all the members?
Yeah, so that everybody can see the replies in the group. So when they're discussing restarts and things,
Yes.
it's quite useful. So I can see where she's coming from. But is that possible in the system or not?
It's not possible because it breaks the thing we just talked about.
Yeah,
In that
I
it
thought
makes
so.
it makes the email addresses available of everybody else in the group available. But if they just set, it's perhaps the best thing is to get them to reply by using the contact member contact all one. So not reply to the email so much as go into the system and just say they want to send an email to everybody in the group.
Right, and they can do that now on the new system. I think we're still on 906. I've just sent you a note
right.
saying, can you update us, please?
Yes, of course. Yes. Yeah. No, I think it's always been there. I think I'd say you should be able to do that now, even though in 906, I would say.
Okay, I'll look for it and see if I can find it. Thanks for that.
Okay. All right.
Chris,
Yep.
apologies. To go back to what Hilary was saying, I think as well, when you do like a bulk email out, which I did because we had a start of year leaders meeting, and I sent an email out to all of our leaders, or what I thought was all of our leaders. I don't think it pulled our second leaders. It just pulled the first leaders, I think, unless someone tells me I was doing something wrong, which I might have been.
Well, there are a number of selections in there, and hang on a sec. Let's get rid of it. Right, sorry. So, yeah, there are a number of selections that you can use, and I think some of them are. I think there's one to all group leaders, and there's one to group leaders. I think there's two separate selections there that you can use.
Yeah,
one goes to everybody.
Right, can you say that again? One is group leaders and one is...
Well, I'll show you. Hang on, probably the easiest.
Thank you. I'd appreciate that.
Julie, just a point while Chris is working that out. What you can do, and it's helped a lot with our group coordinators, is to set up a group called group leaders. And you pop them all in, and they've got their emails, they've got their phone numbers, so just one click, and they can email every group leader at a quick as well. Or you can exclude people as well. So you can set up,
but
you can set up
that, Alan.
It's not a group that members can apply to join.
No, but it's probably that, Alan, is that you have to keep updating it, whereas these selections here are automatic.
Yeah, that's right. So
yeah, you put my
if you use, can you see both of those there?
Right, bulk email, yeah.
So you can see the drop down there. One says group leaders, one says all group leaders.
No, it's not. It's not showing, Chris.
Is it a bit small for you?
Can't see the
Chris, it doesn't show. It must be one of those where it won't pick it up.
It doesn't show.
It's not showing my drop down.
No.
No.
That's strange.
I've come across that before.
Pretty good, but no, I can't see the invisible.
So you can see the note. You can see that I'm on the new email group page.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can, and it says no selection. That's it. Nothing else.
Oh, so the fact I've now selected it doesn't make that live.
No.
Oh, interesting. Right. Okay. Yeah. Take my word for it. There's one called group leaders and one called all group leaders, and it will send it to all the group leaders.
Okay. Right. Okay. Thank you.
Right. Okay. Let's go back to the.
One thing you didn't mention there, Chris, about that the selection in that list was that you can ask you to create new ones.
Yes, of course. Yeah, absolutely. Yes. It's very easy to do, and it's on a U3A by U3A basis. So if anybody wants any selections that we can do with a line of SQL, which is probably most things, then let me know and I'll just put it into your system. Oh. Right. Okay. Right. Carry on from where we're. One thing I didn't say about the selection on. I'll just go back to it.
Are you not? I thought you were taking part in this presentation. Yeah, I thought you were.
If you take a monthly selection there,
I know Chris. I've seen Chris,
and you put in the weeks and the month. You can put -1.
No, I don't know whether you were. Just me assuming.
For the last day of the month. Sorry, the last Monday of the month, or -2 for the second last Monday of the month, or Tuesday, or whatever it is. So you can go from both ends if you want to. So if you put number 1 in, it'll stay the first. But if you put -1, it'll put the last Monday of the month, or the last day of the month. So I don't know if anybody uses that, but it's been there for a while. Right. Okay. Let's have a look at let's have a look at the basic format here of a group. Obviously, in the new setup, the new thing, the description, which we've talked about earlier on. We'll kind of do a little bit more on that in a minute. It then got the contact information here, and it's got this the frequency. This is the generated text that it comes from fortnightly on Wednesdays, from Wednesday the 15th of September for 53 sessions, time, how much you pay. Then you've got group setup information, which is only available to the group leaders, group coordinators, that, and then you have the dates at the bottom there, which you can change and update. And if you're using the venue booking system, then all these colors change. But generally, I think actually, I think I must have used one with a booking system, because normally it's blue, isn't it? All the colors. So perhaps the first thing to do is to look at the dates. So if you've set it up for particular dates, but you don't want the I don't know, 16th of March or the 25th of December, or probably 22nd of December because of Christmas, you can just exclude those dates from the list and just click OK, and those two dates disappear from the list. If I now go back to that one and change this to change it to a user-defined date. I've got to put a description here. Don't use it to cancel point. And now, yeah, okay. You can't have a rolling date that goes on forever. So, okay, we'll just turn it off. So, so now I've changed the description of the frequency. Now it comes out with the description you put there, and now you've got the dates. You can now vary these dates. So this, so you can delete any of these dates you want to, but you can now add new dates as well. So if you just error defined date, oh, get away, or whatever. So you can mess around with these dates and change the date list as required, really. So
just out of interest, Neil, did you notice that when Chris clicked on the pen and paper icon at the top, if you'd like to do it again, Chris, they'll be able to see. Da-di-da-di-da. Come on. And where it says comments, there is your message.
Oh yes, so it is. Yes, back again. Yeah.
So it's only missing when the group co-ord is setting it up. If the group leader goes in there to do anything on the pen and paper, it would appear to be there.
Well pointed out. Well, top marks.
Yeah.
Thank you, Neil.
Thank you. I can cross that one off then.
You can cross that one off. Yes.
Okay. Good. Okay. Right. So if you want to do, I think we had a session a few months ago now on setting up a group description, but essentially now, if you now decide you want something more complicated, you can put images in, date, anything you want, colors, different texts, different this, and you can do it here using this tiny MCE page here. And once you've made a change here.
Chris, I had problems putting an image in. I managed to mess the system up a bit because I did a copy and paste with links, and that froze the system. But could you show me, because that's what I want to do, is to put images in from the description. Could you show me an example of how you do that?
Okay. Yes. Fine. Okay. Let me just take a step. If I do, I'll do images now for you. In the old system, you used to be able to add a single image, and so there are probably lots of groups around that have a single image. But now you've now got an opportunity to put multi-images which are attached to the group. So that's the first thing you want to do, is to decide what image you want and add it to the list. So let's see what we got. Oh, a nice bag. Right. So this image is now only available to well, it's not actually only available, but from the system point of view, it's available to the groups. If you want to use it in other groups, it's quite you can still use the same link, but it's not quite as straightforward. But so now we now want to put this particular image into the description. Now we've put it up there. We now copy it, and then it changes. It says it's copied, and now we go back to here, and there's a little image here on the end. Insert and edit images. We're now copy that source in that we've just had there. Now look, it's going to be pretty large, so we don't really want it that size in the. So let's make it 250. 250. And so now you've got that image in the description there. So if we go back and have a look at the description, it comes up here. There are ways, obviously using some CSS, you can actually integrate the image inside the text as well, using float left and float right and things. But that gets you an image into the description, which is what you wanted.
Yeah, what you've done, you've made my day, because I didn't realize I had to put the image into the gallery first and then copy it to put it into there. I was trying to sort of get an image from the internet or something like that and put it in.
Well, there's nothing.
Me up no end as well, Chris. Because
you can do that if you want to. If you've got a link and you know where it is, and it's sort of in something, then you can put the link to that image in here as well. But
when I did that, it mucked the system up. I'll go back and retry that, but I'm quite happy putting it into the gallery, and then copying from the gallery into that seems a straightforward way.
Yes. Well,
could I ask? Could I please just? Could I ask? How did you get onto that screen where you inserted it? What did you click?
This one here. This right at the end, the multiple images one with the black squares.
Right.
And you just click on there.
Right, I've done that, but then how did you get onto that other screen where you inserted the image?
Oh, okay. Oh, right. You've done that, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So you've got the image in your multi-images, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go back again then. So this one here changes your description. This second one along.
Okay.
Incidentally, can you see the tooltips on the screen when I'll do it again in a minute.
Yes.
And just see. Right. So if you want to add an image, let's delete it again. So you've got these along here, and this one says insert an image.
Yeah.
And it opens up this box, and now you've got the source. And in the source box where it's flashing, we copied it from the thing by pressing that thing, and now just go Control V or Command V, depends on which one you're using, but just copy it in, and now it knows that that's there. So, but you have got to watch the size, because if I go like that, it's going to go whoosh, far too big. So
I did it by got an image by clicking the background thing and putting the picture into the, and it put the image, just a full image on the group without doing what you're doing.
Just say that again for me.
I went into multiple images and I clicked the background.
Ah, right, okay, and that puts an image. Right, okay, that puts an image at the top, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well, yes. Is that what you were trying to ask me to do? Or
No, I was trying to ask you how to do what you've just done. Thank you.
Okay, all right. We'll come back to the gallery in a bit. So okay, so that's so you can mess around with this description obviously all you want, and I won't put any more time on that now. Let's go back.
Can I ask just one quick one, Chris?
Yeah.
Sometimes or certainly used to get a little picture of a camera in those icons. And
Yes.
Our group coordinator, as you can understand, some leaders can do IT, some can't. So he wants to tidy up and put images for the people who don't do IT, if you like. And he asked me, why has the camera disappeared? Because it's on his own group, but not necessarily everybody else's group, which is probably something to do with permissions, I guess. Or have we done away with the camera icon?
Okay. Are you talking about a camera icon on the top line here?
Yeah, yeah, that's where it was.
Right. Ah, okay. Yes, that was when you could just add a single image to the description.
Right.
And of course now you can add multiple images and put them where you want, whereas before it was one picture and you could only put it in one position. So now you've got this multi images, you can put as many as you want. So you can still do exactly the same as you could before, but you now use the multi images and put it there.
Right. So probably then the reason the camera icon is there on his group page is because he had one image there before.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. I think I'm pretty certain it stayed. If there was one there before, it continues until that image is taken out, and then it will disappear.
Right.
It has to be removed out the multi images when you change it. Otherwise, you'll end up with two.
Right.
Yeah, well, I think you've also, yes, that's right. You will end up with two if you add the same image. Obviously,
even though you don't see it, even though it's not actually a multi images.
It comes up on multi images, doesn't it? If you've got an image in there already.
I didn't think it did. Oh yes, it does. Yes, it does. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll come back to that in a little while. Right. Okay. Second page is another option you can put. You can now have a second page in your group, generated in exactly the same way as the first description. And what's been put in now, I don't think it's in there before. Was somebody was asking me, well, what happens while I'm working on page 2? I don't, the group's live, but I don't want it to be seen by people until I've finished it, and you don't want work in progress being shown. So now when you set up a second page, if you don't put the button label in, it won't go live until the label description's in there. So
Chris,
show you what I mean.
Is that absolutely right? Because we had one of our group leaders isn't very IT, but his wife is, and he didn't put a title in for the button label, and on his group he got a little. I mean, don't forget we're on 11.0 by the way.
Yeah, so 11.2 that brings that in, Alan.
Ah, right. Okay, fair enough. I was going to say because on 11.0 you got a little blank.
Yeah, just give you a yellow blob.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yours will be.
Yes.
Well, mine was blue.
So what happens now? You still get the yellow blob, if you are the group leader or the coordinator, but you don't get it if you are an ordinary member.
Ah, right. Okay, that explains. Okay,
And
thanks.
so but then once the description's in there, then everybody gets it. So
Yeah,
it's
okay.
just a way of being able to have it in a sort of draft mode until you're ready to actually go live on it.
Okay, superb. Thank you.
So right, so yeah, it's the same old information really. If you haven't put anything in there, it doesn't. The front page doesn't show anything. But as soon as you put something in here, then when the group description is shown, you get the well, mine's a little blue blob, but you get the blue blob if you're the group leader. If you're not, then you don't get this. So you can still get there.
Neil just likes to be different with the yellow.
Well, it is yellow at the moment.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Okay. And then of course you can once you put the once you put something in there, then it comes up with whatever you put in there, so you can then click on it to so you click on there to change it, but you click on here to view it, to see what it looks like, which doesn't look very much, to be honest, but still, there we go. That's there. Right. Okay. So where do we? What I'll do then. What I haven't mentioned is if you want to use the second page for a particular thing across the U3A, you could create a template for group leaders to populate, and that will always come up in the second page if you set one up. So this one actually has got. I don't know if I clear it, and I don't know whether if I clear it, and it will come back again.
As far as I know, it does, Chris, because I've done that just to get rid of the mess I've made.
It does, do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
So if you just leave the group, then come back to it again, you'll find the templates back.
Yes. So you can set up a template in systems details, and then that will always come up where for any time you start with a second page. So this one just has a table set up, so you can put things in the various. I don't know why you do that, but in other words, you can set something up which can. Always comes up, and then you can change it and delete it and alter it, but it's there to help people to get started anyway. That's
So in setup, Chris, what is this command to set this template up?
It's called group second page temp.
Oh, right. Okay.
You wouldn't know what that was for, would you?
No, I wouldn't have a clue.
Group second page template.
Yeah.
Seems logical to me.
There's no need to speak slowly, Chris. I do understand.
Yeah, I
was just breaking up. Yeah.
I was being facetious, Chris.
Oh right. Well, oh right. Okay. Okay.
I thought it was
self-explanatory.
Right. Okay. So let's move on. I just want to do a bit more with images because now you've got the option to have a gallery for the group. So let's hang on. Let's just see. Right. Okay. Let's. The first thing to show. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that at all. Right. What I've done is on the gallery. So let me go back to here. Right. The first thing somebody mentioned just a little while ago. You can change the standard background for not background, top image for any group you want to, so that if you choose an image.
While you're doing that, Chris, one of the things, if you've got if you put the image gallery on so that people can see it, if you've got a header image in it, it would be nice if it was suppressed actually, because it wrecks the gallery. You know,
Right. Well, hang on. Let's we haven't got there yet. Just hang on a second.
No.
Let's just yeah. How do I put that? Right. So this time, click on the background image, and done. And then if you go to the group, well, I call it new group, didn't I? Yeah.
Yeah.
It changes the image, and you've got, and you now have that as your image at the top of the page. You've probably got to be sensible with this image. You've got to make it long and thin, otherwise it will ruin your group page. You ought to make it somewhere between 7 and 10 to 1.
Yeah.
So you probably don't want much less than 7 to 1 image size, otherwise you just get there. But you know, it changes the whole view of the thing if you want to do that. Right. So if I go back,
and Chris, and you can only have one, unlike the main system.
Yes, that's right. At the moment, yes, there's only one. So what you were so
if you now go to gallery, you'll find that if you've got it set up, that sort of like looks odd in the gallery.
Oh, okay, I see. Okay, right. So if you want to set up a list of lots of images, then you can have this thing. You could switch this end icon on and off. Black means it's off. Red means it's on. And if it's on, you get this gallery button here on the right hand side, and then once you've got your images there, and doesn't show the background image.
It does on the earlier version.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah, it's a lot better if it doesn't.
You must have told me that before, and we both forgot you told me. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So
Chris,
so you can just build a gallery there if you want to, and that's obviously only attached to this group.
Chris, is there a limit in the number of pictures that you can put or images you can put into the gallery?
No, not really. No. There's no. It'll go on for, probably until you run out of space, rather than.
And just another thing, it's more because we know it, but it might.
You just muted, Richard.
Yeah, whenever you this is for members viewing, whenever they go into it and you've got a gallery, it might be worthwhile if you hover over it, if you could put a little information so it says something about what the gallery is, because a lot of this is about both teaching us, but also our difficulty then is trying to get members to use it.
Yes. Sorry, are you saying it's members to use it rather than group leaders to use it? Are you saying?
Well, for the gallery, I mean, if you're going to set up a gallery, you want people to look at it.
Yes.
And part of the difficulty is how do we get members to understand what the gallery is? And when you hover your mouse over it, it would be nice if it sort of just could come up and give a bit of description as to what the gallery is about.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Picture gallery.
Yeah. You mean just a sort of tooltip like this sort of thing? I don't know whether you can see these, but where it comes up with switch off gallery. Can you see switch off gallery?
Not at the moment.
No.
Oh, you can't see tooltips on there. Okay, right. There isn't a tooltip on the gallery at the moment, but I'll add one. Yeah.
Good, thanks.
Group picture gallery. When you go into the gallery, Chris, and you get the pictures up, if you want to click on it again, you are showing. Hang on, it'll come back in a minute. Come on, you little beast. It's getting there. Right. When you put your mouse over that picture, it went as a little hand. Is it clickable?
Yes.
Does it go huge?
Thank you.
Huger or bigger?
Oh, and Is there? Ah, there you go. You can put a description in down there, can you?
Well, the description you put in when you put in the image.
Of course you do, stupid boy. Yes. Okay. Thank you, Chris.
And you can have it as a slideshow as well if you want it.
Right. Okay. So it works almost like the old gallery did for sort of the general site.
I think it works
Not
better
like
than the old
me,
one,
no.
actually. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Right. Okay. So
Can have.
I think that probably covers all the
prefer?
images side. Anything else on images anybody wants to talk about?
Just that point, not specifically for groups, but putting a background like you've got on the top of the screen there, you know, all the time that changes.
Yes.
Is that difficult, or is it beyond an idiot like me?
Not necessarily difficult. You think that would be worthwhile?
Well, yeah, I noticed Neil has done it and Alan's done it, and they've got Stephen. They've got pictures at the top there on the home web page, etc.
Yeah, it's all to do with, as Chris just said, Alan, it's to do with the preparation of the images. You've got to make them all the same size and choose somewhere between an aspect ratio of 7:1 to 10:1. And then all you do is add them to your images in the system details in as many as you like, really. I don't know whether there's a limit, Chris. I think we've got 5 at the moment. So it rotates between 5 of them.
Yeah.
But I don't guess what you were asking, Alan, was it? You were asking about
well, how did you do it?
Oh, well, you just add it to images and say it's the background image.
Yeah. Well, hang on. Let's have a look.
Yeah.
So this is the main site you're talking about, rather than the group.
Yeah, not the group. No, it's in the main system images.
Oh, right. Okay. Hang on. All you do.
It's just a special type of image, if you like, that you define.
You just go into images, Alan, as you normally do.
Yes.
And instead of defining one background one, you just define several.
Yeah.
So what I've got there, I don't know, how many have I got? Quite a few.
Yeah, about 6 or 7.
They're all defined as background images, so it rotates around those images.
Well, the key thing is to make them all the same size.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And I've got them here sort of so that they bring up the name, and sometimes they don't bring up the name and this sort of thing. So it was just an experiment, but so same size, but it works okay, I think.
One thing you didn't mention, Chris, about the group image gallery is that you've now made it in 11.2 that it will reduce the file size, so you don't have to worry about people uploading, you know, a 4 meg file. You'll reduce it down to 750 pixels maximum.
Yes. Yes, that's right. Yes, because most photographs are something like 4,500 square, aren't they?
That's right.
So so if you upload it and then download it, you'll find it's much smaller when you download it and when you upload it, because the system is resizing it to try and stop. So you can put things that do say that, because there used to be an image restriction of 2.5, which we increased to 4.5, and I think people found that wasn't big enough, that they had to do things. So so now, once you load it, you can put things up to probably 10, and it will reduce it down to something like 750k, I think.
So it's just an auto compression facility.
It is. That's right. Yes.
Yeah.
It just because
it's much
you can't
save you doing it yourself, really.
Yeah.
Well, and also you can't display it.
No, you can't display it off the screen.
Yes. So there's no point in having it up on the system with that large. So I did. It seemed to be all upside and no downside, really.
Chris,
Right.
Chris, what control do you use to get that picture at the top there?
This one here.
Yeah.
I'll just say go into images.
Yes.
In systems details. Yeah, I'll just show you again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, mine just says images here. Yeah.
Right.
And then if you just load the images up, so when you load it, you just add an image and then you click, before you submit it, you click this background header.
Oh, background header, right. Yes, okay, yeah, I got that.
And then you can see it comes up here. That's your email header, and then here's the background a background image. You've got 1, 2, And if you put in 6, then it will rotate round those 6.
All right. Okay. Thanks very much.
But as Neil says, the key is to make sure the images are the same size. Else you'll find the thing jumps around and trying to move it. So if you make them the same, it's nice and smooth.
Okay. Very quick question, Chris, before you disappear off that screen. Go back. Can you go back to the top?
You've seen the new descriptions, haven't you?
Yeah. What's all this meeting header, outing header, and logo lark? Oh, logo, I know.
It's for when it's because Chris has updated the outings and the meetings page.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Isn't that must be in 11.1, isn't it?
No, I don't think so. No.
Oh, right. Oh,
I think you've got hybrid here.
11.2 then. Yes, right. Okay.
Sorry, Chris, can I just ask while you're actually on that, is when you're going for the standard image for the top,
yeah.
When I wanted to put in the new logo, it comes up with a white background which in the brand center, it says you can do it twice. You can have one, which is a ping PNG, and one which is a, what's the other one called? JPEG.
JPEG, yeah.
Yeah, JPEG. And when I tried, because I'm trying to update our website, when I tried to put it in with a color background, or let alone pictures, it's still got the white box around it.
You'd have to edit
the image automatically, and I can't get that white box to go away.
You'd have to edit the image that's come from the U3AD, because it's obviously part.
I thought I had, but the one that comes up when you put standard comes up automatically from the site, and that comes up with the background image with a white round the box.
Yes, it does. Doesn't it? The standard one that's in the system at the moment comes with a white box in, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So you can't, from the standard one, do it so you could put something else in.
Well, yeah, not if you're using a different color. Well, you either leave it like that, or alternatively, you just take over the thing and decide what you want the top to look yourself, and set it up in set the whole thing up as you want it to look, by creating, with an image editor.
Right. Okay.
I could send you an image, dear, if I get the image and cut the white off, so it's just the blue bit, if you want.
Well, I have tried to download the one for the color.
No, I mean, I'll edit the image. I mean, they're original.
What, just from the brand center toolkit?
Yeah, just take theirs and then just edit it so it just retains the blue bit.
Yeah, you nick their image and then you play around
Just
with it in
edit
a paint package or something, Paint Shop Pro or something of that description.
Oh, I think that's beyond me.
Well, I'll send you one if you like.
Oh, that would be brilliant if you would, Neil.
Okay.
Because you were really kind before. I'm still struggling, but I'm getting there.
Yeah, you're getting there. It's good.
Yeah. If anyone wants to look at a proper website, have a look at Crew. Certainly don't look at Wrexham and Peterborough. No, don't waste your time. No, just stick with Crew and you'll be all right.
Wait,
that's not fair, is it,
Alan?
So proud of you, Neil.
Right. Okay. After that, we'll move on, shall we? Right. Okay. Just moving along. Some of the other things that in the group here. If you want to, you can add PDF files to the. If I can remember how to do it.
That's down in the.
Right. You can add more PDFs to the front page that people can click on and view. So if you want to, again, sort of, I don't know this. Well, we'll call it that for the sake of calling it something. So you just select its PDF. And OK, and it'll upload it. So hopefully, if I've selected something, it will load in a minute. Oh, there we go. Yeah. OK. Right. So what we've got here is just a PDF, which so if I just pop back to the group description, you've got this more box that comes up, and then you can have as many of these PDFs as you want, and obviously you can call them what you want. I just called them the main newsletter, and just click on it, and you will get when it loads. It's quite large, obviously, so it takes a while just to download it and use it. So and if you want to you can click on it you can download it and then click it and then view it, which as a PDF on yes, you have to do that if you've got an Apple thing, because you don't only get one page of a PDF, don't you, if you view it on a
you don't even get that, Chris. You just get the first little bit, the first bit that you're displaying.
Yeah, so if you want to view it, then you've got to click do the click here on an Apple device.
I find it better anyway, really.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, some of you, like I think Flintshire, they've got a different view, haven't they? And Peterborough.
Sorry, I missed that.
I say I think Peterborough and Flintshire have got a different viewer, haven't they, as well? I don't know what happens in that, whether that'll display in an iPad.
Oh, right. I don't know. Okay. So anyway, you can one thing you can do, you can put if you don't want to show it for a while, you can put the date up, it starts, and you can show an expiry date as well, and you can just remove it at any time you want as well. So these PDFs you can add, or you can just leave them there and expire. It's up to you really. So it clogs it up if you do. It's probably better to remove them, but you can put an expiry date in there. Right, okay, next section, members. How are we doing with time? Okay. Right, okay, so group leaders can add their own members. Just, if they want to pick a member, they can just add members to the group themselves. This is the group leaders, second leaders, or coordinators. And because I haven't put anything, he's on the waiting list because I think I didn't put any members into the size of the thing, but I'll do that in a tick. So you can just put a member in, and now they become a member, and they will get an email saying that they are now a member of the group. I'm going to just change the right. So they can add it. The group leaders can add it, but obviously they can apply. Individuals can apply themselves. So if they're going into the group list and they want to become a member, yes. So they can just apply to join the group there. And goes into the group and says, confirm. Yes, I do want to join that group. So you don't get any false ones. So then if the group leader, I'm sure I said this before, but obviously these icons at the top are only available to group leaders, secondary leaders, and the coordinators. Obviously the member doesn't see this, they can't do that. The group leader gets a notification that somebody's applied, and also the members, there's a red box appears around the member to show that there are outstanding applications for this group. So that then the group leader goes in there. If they have forgotten, they've still got something to do there. So again, it's just showing that that I've applied, so I can just confirm. So once you get to the limit of the number of people, then it'll start showing. So it will start showing that they have to join the waiting list, but can do so. And so hang on, I'll just change this to two members. So if there was only 2 members allowed, silly thing. So if I go back to the group list now, oh, because I'm a member. Yes, if I wasn't a member, it would now come up join the waiting list. So I'm probably not going to do too much with that. So
interestingly, Chris, when you're in the group members list there, despite you having added them, they weren't blue. The status wasn't blue. I thought it always went blue if it was added by the leader or an administrator. You know, under status, normally you'd see that group member would be blue because it wasn't the member who'd done it.
yes, that's right.
Is that because you're administrator? I don't think I've ever noticed that, Socrates.
It definitely does go a different colour because
that goes to the percentage. Yeah, goes to the percentage that they can add. That's right.
There's a limit on the number that the people can apply, but maybe because if the switch is not set, then it doesn't do it. Right. I guess. Right. Okay. So that's simply how the members can work, and obviously this is where you can once you've got some members, then you can have things like sort of printing the group register. That recently has changed. There were problems downloading Excel files, so now the Excel file is sent to you by email rather than downloading it directly, because the downloading process was corrupting the Excel format. But your PDF you still get directly, so that's why this new little note's down here to say it's coming by mail.
Yeah, Chris, could I just ask a question? In terms of the PDF, I don't know probably an awful lot about PDFs, but you can't. We've got some groups that have quite a lot of members, and so having discovered that the Excel download doesn't work anymore and you get it via your email. I've obviously generated PDF registers for our leaders who are not as IT savvy perhaps. On some, you don't have the ability to alter the page margins as such. So what we're finding is when we get to page 2, the actual the headlines, the actual headings are actually staying on page 1, and then the names are coming off on page 2, so to speak. So you can't play with it enough to be able to print it out so that you've got your headings at the top of every page.
Sorry, which one's causing the problem, the Excel or the PDF?
PDF. Yeah,
okay.
Only on some though. I think it depends, obviously on how many members you've got, obviously in the group, and for our choir, there's quite a lot, So
can you send me an example?
Yeah, absolutely, I can, definitely. Thank you.
So it'd be useful to see one where it does work and one where it doesn't. In the majority it does work, and from my perspective I don't mind playing with it anyway. It's just having the ability to be able to alter the page margins, really.
Yeah, it would be a bit of faffing about, but what you can do with a PDF is you could open it in something like Word and you can do it in that.
Yeah, you could, and you're right, Alan, it is a bit of a faffing about, and I haven't got time, to be honest. I really haven't. I just was trying to make it easier for our leaders. Yeah, well, thank you anyway. Yeah, you're absolutely right, but I'd just rather hit a button and it works. Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah.
That, Chris, thank you. That I would appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Send it to me. That'd be great. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Right. Okay. Just work the way along this. Obviously, you can groups can send emails. Let's close that. You can say. I think probably most people know you can email a group here. So if I wanted to send that. I I can just click on here and you get into define email format, and you can create the emails that you want to send and put attachments in.
Chris, the only problem I have with that is, maybe because I'm slow and I've changed the way I'm doing it, is if you're working on the email, suddenly it disappears because there's a time limit on it. But what I tend to do now is do my emails separately and then copy and paste.
If you
just press save email body.
If you just save the email body and then you go back into it again, it retains it. So, you know, every couple of minutes, I think you've got 25 minutes, haven't you, or something like that.
I thought you got a warning before it closed anyway.
I don't think I've had a warning.
Don't you? Oh.
You don't get a warning?
I must try it. I haven't done it for a while because I changed what I do.
No, I've never had a warning.
Right.
I know.
Yeah, it should come up after 10 minutes or 15 minutes. 15, I think it does now, and it says just save your work. So
I don't think I ever had that.
No, well, we put it in probably I don't know, 18 months ago. I guess.
Quite some time ago. Yeah. I thought it did.
Would you try it again just as an experiment? See if
I will, and I'll let you know.
Yes, please.
There's nothing as bad as losing the stuff.
No. Absolutely, yeah. So the save email body is a thing which help you. You can save it, and it keeps it until you send it. So you should be okay if you push the button. The problem is that it's when you're working in this text box here, the center doesn't know you're still working on it, and it's got if you don't do anything for 20 minutes, the system logs you out, and that's what's happening there, because from a security point of view, you don't want to walk away and leave the thing logged in forever, and that's why it does that. But if by just clicking the save, one, it saves it, but two, it also tells the system you're still there, and we'll keep on going, and you can go for hours then if you click that sort of periodically.
Okay.
But please try and let me know, and anybody else who doesn't think it works, let me know, because you know, it may be a individual computer type of computer that doesn't do it, but I can't see that. But anyway, yeah, let me know. Yeah.
Chris.
Yep.
Marilyn, can you hear me?
Yes, can. Yes.
Oh, lovely, because it didn't come through earlier. Thank you. Attachments. Anything above 4 meg is a problem. I've had a few things I've wanted to send out to my own group, and they've been just above, but I hadn't actually known that. It's been an email that I've wanted to send on or something like that, because it's had colours in it. What's the way round sending bigger than 4 meg to your?
What sort of thing are you sending?
Right, the last thing I tried to do was, I run a family history group. The last thing I tried to do was to send on an email from the Federation, which contained their colour pictures, and it contained links, I suppose, and it was quite a long thing, and it wouldn't go. So I give up on that in the end, and I forwarded it out separately. But then I've got the problem that I hadn't yet, my group had just started up, so I hadn't yet got their permissions to do that. So it's a bit awkward, isn't it? It's got to go through here, and I need to know how to do it.
So was it a PDF with all that information in?
It would have been, yes. It was an attachment to an email that I downloaded and then tried to attach. Yes.
Okay, that is an issue. One thing you can do is that you can use a PDF contractor. What's it called? No, not contractor.
Compressor.
A compressor. You can compress PDFs to much smaller sizes and send them.
Or have you got a Google account? You know, have you got God, I can't think of that. Google Workspace account? No. Well, or you can put it into some online file system and just put a link to it.
I don't know if all my.
Well, just click it. They just click it and it'll open.
Yeah. Do they? Okay. Yeah. So that's something else I'd have to think about setting. I've only got a small group. Why I'm here today is I'm going to take over a group coordinator's job from someone. So I'm trying to understand how all this works. But from my own point of view, that was a problem.
So has it happened on multiple occasions? Is it, you know?
Sorry, Chris, we've only just started back. So I've done about 2. One went through fine because it obviously was within the size limit. The second one, I just said, no, won't accept it. So.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
I think it was 4.2, something like that, when I eventually found out how to work out what it was.
And did you get a message saying it was too big to start with?
I think it just didn't do anything. I sent it and it wasn't with it.
Okay. Okay.
It's not an issue about the file name, because that can cause it not to go.
I don't think so, because when I did eventually send it out in a different way, it went.
Right, because I mean, I think you've corrected that, haven't you, Chris? Now, so it does shorten file names.
It does. Yes. It didn't like long file names.
That's right.
Well, no, it just tells you now if you've got too long a file name, and
right.
Because it's yeah. So if you find that to be an issue, and you know, a regular issue, then let me know and we'll have a look and see if we can just make it larger or whatever. But if it was a one-off, then maybe.
Yeah, it could keep coming up. Now we're back to and doing things. It could keep coming up.
Yeah. Okay.
But I will let you know. Thank you.
Right. Okay.
In chat, I've just stuck a link into a PDF compressor. If you want to grab that URL, it will take you to a PDF compressor online.
They're very useful, aren't they? They work very well and very quickly, those online ones, don't they?
Yep.
Right. Okay. So emails, I think.
Thank you.
So if somebody wants to send an email to their groups, then you can do that. You do that if you had that switch set. Then it comes up as a link in the description. So and links across to it. It's not on here because I obviously haven't got it set on here, but that's where it comes up anyway. If a member wants to send to all the members, they do it from a link that's here.
Why don't you turn it on, Chris, so they can see then?
Yeah. Okay. Just while I'm on this page, I mentioned earlier on about the description. Once you've worked on the description on that, you can't work on the description here. If you come to make a change to the group, then it will come up. Please use the text editor group description, because if you had it here, it would have all the HTML and all the various bits and pieces that are built into it to give you the styling that you wanted. And so you need to use the group description icon rather than do it here. So it won't let you do it here. Right. Members can send emails. Yes. Where's he gone?
But
I don't know if anybody uses it, but that's where it comes out, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it's on there. Did you press update?
Yeah, I thought so. Yes.
Oh, right.
I'll check.
Just checking.
I'm pretty certain I did.
Chris, is there not a setting in system, in the main system settings that you've got to have ticked on first?
Yeah.
Well, yes, there is, but you don't get the option in the group if you haven't set that switch to start with. So that one must be set okay, else you wouldn't have got the option to be able to say yes or no in the group.
Yes. Okay.
So
just to make the others aware that it's got to be done first.
Oh yes, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
And which may be a web admin role rather than a group's coordinator role.
Chris, is it? What are you?
Yes.
Are you a member of the group? You are, aren't you? Setup administrator.
Yeah.
I just wondered if you didn't come on because.
Oh, I think it's because I'm a group coordinator.
Yes.
And therefore, because I'm a group coordinator, it says you don't need that
that's
there.
Right.
Yes. Yeah, that's why it's not there. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. Right. Okay. So let's just move on to conscious of the times. Moving on. Subscriptions or fees or whatever we want to call them, to an option to be able to charge members a regular fee for for being a member of the group. So if you want to sort of say, well, okay, once a quarter or once a term or once a month, you have to pay £5 to cover the venue and the refreshments. Yeah, right. Oh, come on, spell it. And it's due. Oh, due now, and I want to send it to all the members. So I've set up the fee. Now there's two options here. Either the group leader can run this thing entirely inside their own system, and it doesn't go nothing on the accounts or anything like that. It's just a way of a group leader monitoring that they paid them the £5. You can say exclude it from the accounts, and if you exclude it from the accounts, then this is entirely in the group leader's control. So we'll just say, so this, once everything's set up okay, which we'll say it is, you click the green tick. So that now becomes a fee that the group leader can monitor. And when it gets, so now that's there, so they've got to pay their thing for the next £5. And they can control that when they receive it, they can just say, yeah, I've had £5 cash. And it's a way of just keeping control of who's paid their money and who hasn't. And you can have as many of these attached to the group as you want to. So you might have this, if they pay once a month, you'll have one for June, July, August, September, and you can keep control of who's paid and who hasn't paid and who owes money. That's the setting it up within the group. If you want to set one up that is that goes into the accounts, then you can set up another one. Sort of, I'll just pick a different date. So, an annual fee for, I don't know, refreshments. All members, £15. And this time, if you put yes, so this now the money raised, it goes through as a charge and as a payment through the group account, if you like. And if we just say yes to that. And so that can now be paid by direct debit. It can be paid by credit card. Whereas the other ones, if the membership secretary is running them, if the group leader's running their own, then all they can do that is take manual payments. But once you say it goes through the system's accounts, then you can take credit card payments, and and if they've got a direct debit set up for the right account, then they can take it as a direct debit as well. So. And again, the system will keep control of who's paid, and it shows in the members' record, overall record, that they have or haven't paid. So so now I'm set up as a direct debit payer. So now the system is saying, right, he's a direct debit payer, therefore don't worry about it. The system will take it at the right time. So that's subscriptions. I don't know, anybody's using it at the moment, are they?
No, I don't know. We're not as for at the moment.
No, we're not at the moment.
I'd like to, but I'm not so sure about administering it.
Yeah. Well, it's there anyway. It's a way of collecting money for group membership. But anyway.
I think we would, Chris, but we'd need to set up another bank account, as it were, and we're at the max now on U3AWeb with the number of bank accounts. So.
Yeah. Okay.
Also, most leaders are just happy with the paper system. The the dated chart that you do.
Yes, there's the registration document thing. Yeah. Anyway, right, it's there if needed. Okay. There is also the other thing, just to mention, if you are putting any finances, there's the finances side of things, that you are putting finances through the groups. There is a financial report there which will give the group leader, and I'll tell you what, I use a better group. Group finances, I think. It's probably the best one. It's the bag of money. So you can run for a group. You can run its own sort of subset of the accounts, and that will show income, expenditure, and that's associated with the group. I think Fincher are using that on me. Right. Okay. One thing we haven't spoken about is payment groups. I don't know how many of you are using payment groups. Holmes Chapel use it, I know. I don't know whether anybody else is using it at the moment.
Yeah, I'm using a payment group for a trip in a couple of weeks' time.
Oh, right. Okay, good. So just so everybody, well, I'll just sort of briefly go through how it works. So if we go back to the group list. So now, if instead of setting a standard group, we set up a payment group. Somebody started to mow outside. I'll just close the window. So everything else is pretty much the same, except you now put a cost of the group. So I don't know, £100, and you can say, oh well, I need a £10 deposit, and you put in the date that you got to pay the full by, and then you also put when you need the deposit. Rest of it is much the same. The system. So well, I'll just briefly go through one. That'll do. Just put something again. Don't need to put anything else in, just put a category in. I won't put any other stuff in. So you get another section here, sort of showing really how much it is and how much it's it's good, and how much the deposit is and when it's got to be paid. So if I sort of just apply for the group. That's interesting. Don't let me apply for the group. Okay, I'll just go do it the other way and find out. Have a look at that.
It's all right, I'm chundering away here. I don't think you said it away from draft, Chris.
Ah!
No.
Yeah, well done. Yeah, okay. Okay, that's probably right. So now you get different things here. Well, on membership, really, it shows that it's applied. You can either say, oh well, I've already had the money from them and just make them straight there, or you can make them provisional members, which now tells them that they've now, yes, they're okay, they're in the numbers, but they've got to pay. So they can either there'll be a link in the emails that go out, which they can go and pay by credit card. They can obviously go online and look at go into this group, and it will show that they can pay it there. They can look at their own record, their payment history in My Information, and it will show it there, and they can pay from credit card through there. If they want to phone up and pay it, they can. The group leader now can take that payment over the phone if you choose to let them. Either deposit all the fully paid, or if they send a check in, all you've got to do is to say, oh yeah, look, I've just clicked here, I've had a payment by, so they've given me cash. You can just put a reference number or whatever you want to in there. So having done that, it now shows that it shows balance to pay, and then you've got this fully paid when they pay the rest. The system will send out reminders to say you've been accepted, subject to payment. You've got to pay within the next 7 days, or whatever the thing is. Whatever you word it as you want to, both deposit and final. And so it just keeps control of the of these group payments. That is a very quick run round it. Does anybody want to ask any questions about that? No. Okay.
One quick one, Chris. The credit card payment thing, presumably then that would then go via Stripe. So Stripe would take their cut out of it, as it were. So you'd end up with charges, yeah?
Right. It's the same as paying your membership. Yes.
Yeah. So each individual one would lose. So yeah, if you were charging, you'd have to take into account charges that are being made against the U3A. Okay.
Yeah, and you can do direct debit payments as well through it if you want to. If somebody registers into the account that you're running those from, because you can run those from either of two bank accounts. If they've got a direct debit set up against that one, then it will take the payment at the next run, next time it's due.
Yeah. Again, I think our problem with using it would be the fact that we're at the max number of bank accounts in U3AWeb. So,
well, it must be one of those where you'd use. You can't. You've got your membership one, and then you've got a group one, haven't you?
I don't know. I know Louis might know there was some complication about how many bank accounts we got, but
yes, there's a limit to the way we organise the bank accounts were organised originally.
Yeah,
and it doesn't. We can't have more.
Yeah,
and at the moment, in any case, the two groups that I've got using payment as a system are basically only want to accept checks, and we don't want to go through the system yet because Mary, the treasurer, is not yet comfortable that it would work.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. Fine. Okay. I think I've been through most of the system that's here. Does anybody else want to sort of go into anything about groups or any other areas or questions or?
No, but can we have 11.1 as soon as?
Yes. Okay.
Can I ask, will there be updated user documentation under the admin menu?
Yes. On which particular bits are you interested in? I mean,
oh, just the groups themselves.
Well, most of the.
Because I think it's probably still just shows the old icons, etc.
Ah, okay. Okay.
Like create a group.
Right. Yes.
Or are we just doing ourselves?
The description, I know all the description stuff and all the guidance that we did on that. That's gone up into the admin, the documentation, user documentation, hasn't it?
Yeah, I can see things like additional web page, etc., securing your data.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that will, most of that will all stay, won't it? I mean,
yes.
It's not, yeah. Yes, but I take your point. There are definitely things that have moved on in the last year or so that probably aren't in the user documentation. But do use the release notes as well, because they do describe in, maybe not in the level of detail, but hopefully they do describe the largely what happens. Yeah, but some of the more complicated stuff is probably not enough.
Yeah, we did when we first took on U3AWeb about, I don't know, 3-6 months later, we did a group leader meeting where we sort of did the instruction on how to use their group pages, but things have moved on far enough now that I'm hoping in the next couple of months or so to run another one, because there's an awful lot of stuff that they can do that they couldn't do before.
Yeah, yeah.
Can I ask one question there?
Yeah.
That row of icons, is it possible to have those icons individually so as I can put them in our own training notes for new group leaders, or in fact we will have a new group coordinator as well?
Just use Snip, Alan.
Yes,
You can just snip them off.
If you just put the arrow over it and right click it, you'll have a thing which says save image as.
All right.
It'll down, and then you can just save the image down to your computer.
Or press the Windows Shift and S, and you'll get the Microsoft snipping tool up, and you can just select whatever you like.
Yeah, well, yes, that's not too easy because they're very small.
Yes, but if you download them, they are quite small anyway. But if you download them, you'll get the actual PNG image.
Right. Okay. So right click on that, and of course, if you put it in Word, you can enlarge that icon so it fits in with your notes, etc.
Yes, obviously, if you do that, then yes, it probably doesn't have the same quality. But if you make it larger but it should be okay. You should be all right.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, right, fine. So, any other questions, or is everybody absolutely been sitting here for 2 hours and had enough? Yeah. Okay. Right. Fine. All right. Well, thanks very much, then, everybody. And if you want to run any other sessions on other things, then let me know, and I'll try and arrange something else.
Okay, Chris. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Chris.
Cheers.